morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Karim.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor, first of all, if you can tell us about the projects that are being implemented by this sector. I believe projects worth 30 billion pounds have been spent on this sector. If you can tell us more.
Yeah, first of all, as we know all that water resources in Egypt and the water, especially in the river Nile, is the gift and the value from the Lord and from God. And we have to keep sustainable water resource through the projects, as you mentioned. The book had briefed a huge amount of projects, of which the projects of Minister of Water Resource and Irrigation are loud and clear. Like, we have infrastructure development for the headwater structures along across the river Nile and along the network, which exceeds 55,000 kilometers for irrigation canals and drainages. Asyut barrages is a common project across the Nile, which was already inaugurated in last August by His Excellency the President and the cabinet ministers. Also, the projects of the preventive measures against the floods and also the climate changes along the coastal area. These projects are very common and well known for all Egyptians. Also, the projects in the field of irrigation improvements. Irrigation improvement projects are there using the solar cells and the power, a clean power, so as to preserve the environment when you are looking for a preservation or water conservation on the field of irrigated land for the agriculture sector. So many projects were there with the billions you mentioned along these 4 years of that
because, as you said, a huge amount of money has been pumped into them. If you could highlight some of the most important in this area.
Okay, let's talk about the Asyut barrage, for example. Asyut barrage is a project which aims at improving the agriculture at or in 1.6 million Fidan in Middle Egypt, in 5 provinces, 5 governorates, which is Giza, Bani Suef, Fayoum, Asyut, and El Minya. Also to improve the navigation along the river Nile for the purposes of improving the tourism sector. There is the component. Let's talk about the component of the Asyut barrages. There is 2 navigation lock, and also there is the road, 2-way roads, so wide roads rather than the other one, which was there along the old barrage. Also, there is hydroelectric power plants with 8 turbine, with 4 turbine. 4 turbine, each 8 megawatt for power production. This also is a clean power generation to preserve and conserve the environment. And also, we can say there will be landing sites for the river Nile Pass, nearby the barrages, to save some certain job opportunities for the people. It has several objectives: social, environmental, technical, touristic, and also some improvement for the water, rationalization of water use along the Nile River. When you just to pass the water from the high dam, it takes long time until reach to certain area which needs water. So these barrages there to just to make it as a reservoir and to have water in front, to direct and divert to the areas, irrigated areas, and even for drinking water, for whatever sector used, on time.
Right.
Yeah, and not to take long time and to have certain water loss along the journey of the water from there.
Also, Dr. Yusri, one of the major challenges facing the ministry is flooding.
Yes.
How are you dealing with this challenge?
Yeah, we have in the ministry the forecasting center. The forecasting center at the ministry has a high technology for predicting the rains and the clouds when it will come,
Right.
and it predicts for the rainfalls for five days before, with a high accuracy for the 72 hours, for 3 days. And the data comes from the satellite images and from other models used in the center to be analyzed, and the amount and the thickness of water predicted to be produced from this cloud and the waves of the rains is already there and calculated and computed to maximum also accuracy. For that, we had models, also other models for designing the structures, water structures along the wadi. There are branch wadis and the main wadis and so on in Sinai and in Hurghada and some other desert area in the eastern bank of the Nile, and the design of these structures to be implemented by the ministry. I can say along the past or the past year, 2 years, we had more than 320 structures, of which you have obstruction dams, you have lakes, you have also diversion walls and dikes and so on, to preserve the people and to preserve the people against and to protect them against the impact, harmful impact of these floods, which we saw before. If we looked at the past 2 years, it was served very well through these structures, and we didn't hear about the damages which were done 2 or 3 years ago in 2015, 2016. And even the strategic roads and the strategic structures and the life of the people are main and the common issue the government and the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation are concerning.
Could you tell us more about how the high dam in particular has contributed to the country's achievements in the past 4 years?
We know all that the high dam is the safeguard of water supply in Egypt, as it passes the most common source of water in Egypt, which exceeds almost 97% of the water resources in Egypt, the Nile, as it is the source of life in Egypt, and it is the main source of water for the Egyptians and other sectors. So we pay more attention and a very high attention to the high dam through making the maintenance, regular maintenance for the body of the high dam, and also introducing new technologies for modeling operation of the water through the high dam. Also, we introduce some other thing, which is we have there the museum, Nile Museum, which is a very common touristic attractive existing
Dr. Yusri, sorry to jump in here, but you were speaking about the latest and the new technologies. You have kindly provided us with an illustrative video that was produced by the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation, showcasing the latest technologies in irrigation and rationalizing the use of water. And this is it's not complicated. It's kind of simplified for even the viewers with no background or knowledge about this. So we're going to be airing it, and then you're going to be commenting on it.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So, dear viewers, we're going to be taking a look at this video, and then we'll be back to discuss the content of the video with our guest here in the studio.
Around 80% of water is consumed here in Egypt in agriculture, and once farmers share best practices and good ideas how they really can use less water and achieve better results, it's encouraging and gives inspirations to other farmers.
عملنا كذا تجربة، يعني مثلا في فصيلة في الفيوم لما تدخل ري حديث، أول حاجة الفلاحين كسبوا مساحة من 10-15% من الأرض بتاعتهم، نتيجة إن في مراوي داخلية وفي مصارف ديت كلها اتلغت، وبالتالي بقت مكسب في مساحة الأرض.
استخدام أساليب الري الحديثة على الواقع اللي طبقناه زود معانا مساحة الأرض الزراعية من 10 ل 12%. ليه؟ لأن احنا زلنا جميع المصارف والمسائي والطرق وتم إضافتها للأرض الزراعية. قيمة الأرض الزراعية اللي أضيفت للزراعة أعلى من قيمة تكلفة المشروع نفسه. توفير المياه، الفدان الواحد كان بياخد 3 ساعات غمر كل 10 أيام، دلوقتي ال3 فدادين ونص بياخدوا 1.5 ساعة كل 3 أيام، وبناء عليه بنوفر من 30 ل 40% من المية. العامل واحد ممكن يسقي في اليوم مساحة الأرض كلها، يعني بيوفر تقريبا حوالي 50% من العمالة. الفلاح النهارده دلوقتي بيهمه مصدر دخله بالري الحديث اللي هو بالرش، إنتاجية الفدان زادت من 30 ل 35%. أهم ما في الموضوع كله إن هو بيديني إنتاج جيد وصحي وقابل وقادر إن أنا أنافس به في العالم الخارجي.
عندنا 100 فدان وعندنا 100 متر ميه، ممكن ال 100 متر ميه نخليهم يزرعوا 200 فدان بالترشيد، بالتقنيه الحديثه، بالمحافظه على المياه، على مساحه حوالي 55 فدان كلها ري بالتنقيط. بتزرع بمحاصيل شتويه خضر، وبتزرع بمحاصيل صيفيه، اي حاجه عايزين نزرعها هنزرعها. زودنا مساحة الأرض اللي بتنزرع من 8 ل 10%، وفرنا 50% مية، 50% أسمدة ومبيدات، بيجي في جودة في الإنتاج. حافظنا على العنصر البشري إن هو ما فيش مية بيتعرض لها بيمشي فيها برجليه، يبقى ده فايدة التجربة. حافظت على الوضع البيئي في المنطقة والمناطق المجاورة.
المزارع بطبعه لو ما شافش قدام عينين نتائج ما بيقتنعش بسرعة بالفكرة. فاحنا شفنا النهاردة ازاي الري المطور اللي بالتنقيط بيخدم الارض ازاي، وبيعمل انتاجية ازاي، وبيوفر مية ازاي.
وبتمنى ان الناس تحذو حذو العمدة عبد الناصر في ترشيد المياه، وان احنا كتجربة هننقلها بفضل الله.
توفير في الجهد، توفير في المياه، كل هذا بيعود على المزارع بالنفع.
ري حديث مريح جدا وبجيب انتاج عالي. انا بدل ما عندي 4 فدادين خليتهم 6 فدادين، اولا التجربه ديت نجحت جدا جدا، ابهرت المركز انعمل فيه لحد دلوقتي 260 فدان تنقيط. كرمنا من وزير والاتحاد الاوروبي وخدنا جايزه، والمحافظات الثانيه بتيجي والتجربه اهي قدام الدنيا بحالها والعالم كله، ويجي الناس كلها تتفرج عليها.
التجارب ديت لازم تنشر، وهي التجارب الناجحه دايما بتلاقي الناس بتمشي وراها.
But once we have involved the farmers, so then it is really something touchable, something which can be immediately implemented.
Welcome back, dear viewers, and as we noted before the break, we're going to be airing a video illustrating the latest technologies nurtured by the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation. And back with back to our discussion with our guest here in the studio, Dr. Yusri, the official spokesperson of the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation. Sir, please, if you can comment, we have seen wonderful results out of these new technologies that were sponsored by the ministry.
Yes, let me say this video presents the many efforts done by the ministry and illustrates the cooperation between the ministry, the development partner like European Union, by the users themselves. It's okay. All partners in this video has a main aim, which is water saving, high productivity for the users themselves, rationalization of the water use, and even expanding the irrigated land, the land for agriculture, and so on. We saw from this model that there is new improvement techniques for irrigation improvements like dripping irrigation and also irrigation through sprinklers, and also the technique of transplanting the plants itself, and this results in a high and huge amount of production. As they mentioned, it is a double score of revenue or the yield, and also expansion in the land So the ministry has in its national water resource plan main pillar with activities of irrigation improvement using like these models and also the solar energy so that saves the time of using this water through the technique of solar energy and the batteries which has a certain duration and time to use. This video, as His Excellency the Minister Dr. Muhammad Abdelati, Minister of Water Resource and Irrigation mentioned, we have to look at what we have in hand. The water is very limited and scarce in Egypt, and we have to deal with it with a rational mood to get the best benefit and the maximum yield of utilization of the water. And as the development partners mentioned, they expressed their happiness with this model, with the awareness of the people themselves, with water issues in Egypt.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the rationalization of water, because it's not just when it comes to farmers and agriculture, but also to raise awareness for the average civilian on the importance of rationalizing their consumption of water.
Okay.
So what can you tell us about that?
Okay, the cabinet already declared, you can say, a document on rationalization of water use, and it is a compulsory for everybody, starting with the state agencies and the ministries themselves, to give the example that we started ourselves through our buildings. You look at what we just launched a few months ago through the cooperation among the ministries, as 3 ministries in Egypt. to have this the piece of saving water to be erected on the tap. Yeah, this is to be erected. It saved more than 75% of the water use. This is a rationalization through technology, small, very small technology, to be erected on the tap in our houses to save like this amount of water at that level. Also, construction of the irrigation improvement projects across the branch canals, like the Avies gates and so on, which is controlling the water for the demand side on time, on time, not to make the water all over the daylight hours and to be even with not using this water. More water rationalization example is the people which are using just spreading the water and just cleaning the cars.
We can say abusing water.
Abusing, this water abuse, yeah. So our main strategy in our, you can say, communication strategy with the people is to, and the media and everywhere, is to explain that abuse of water will be met by the law with a very reinforced and restricted punishment. Also, the rationalization of water is to keep it preserved and conserved on its waterways, not to just make encroachments along the banks of the Nile and the banks of the waterways, which hinder reaching the water to the user. This is also can be one of the water rationalization through hindering these encroachments, early beginning, not to make it magnified and then to erase and to lose the components of the buildings or whatever so erected along this canal and the Nile River.
Also, Doctor, if you can tell us about the percentage of achievements that have been done so far from 2014 till 2018, and what is the remaining goals that you have in the vision of the ministry? Okay,
the remaining goals, we talked about some achievements along this period from 2014 to 2018, and there are many which is at certain other scales and other scales. If we look at the vision of the ministry is to have a strategy and a national water resource plan 2017-2037, which is a 20-year plan to achieve the goals of the strategy, which are irrigation, water quality improvement, and also rationalization of water use, development of water resources indoor and outdoors, indoor through management and introducing a non-traditional water resources like water desalination and wastewater treatment to maximum extent to be used when it is mixed with Nile water, and also outdoor through cooperation with the Nile Basin countries and even the African countries. In the Nile Basin countries, there is lots of water waste in swamps and somewhere and so on. So there are cooperations among the Nile Basin country, especially with the technical expertise which is presented to them by technical cooperation with the Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation in just harvesting the water which is lost in swamps and everywhere, to improve the state of the Nile River along these countries, which you can say it is a very important project, has support from His Excellency the President, which is Medvic, which is a Mediterranean Lake Victoria project, which is a navigation to make ease transportation amongst the Nile Basin countries for trading, for tourism, for so many things. The last pillar, which is, you can say, the enabling environment. Enabling environment for the water, integrated water resource management through awareness, through capacity building and developing, and also through legalization and introducing reinforced laws.
Yes. Sir, could you tell us a little bit more about something that you briefly mentioned, and that's improving the quality of water? Could you expand on that, please?
It's okay. We have in the ministry a monitoring system and a monitoring station along the network, the Nile, and also the canal networks and the drains networks. It's okay. Through this monitoring station for water quality, we know everywhere where is a source of pollution which can affect the quality of water, and we had we navigate all these networks every day. It's okay to take just some samples of water and to look at it. On the other hand, the Ministry of Housing has a promising project to improve the quality of water, especially the water, wastewater treatment, through wastewater treatment, plant construction, and everywhere, even in you see in Ras Gharib and even in Gabal Lasfar, there are huge wastewater treatment plants, and the law is governing the quality of water. The law is governing the quality of water through some norms and indicator for the composition of the elements which is acceptable by the law in the water. If there exceeds this amount, so stop using that water, and also stop. The violators who are dealing with that are subject to punishment. Severe punishment as they are spoiling the water and abusing even the use of water.
Yes. Dr. Yusri, also if you can tell us about, you have just kindly mentioned presidential initiatives. No one, of course, can forget the contribution of the Long Live Egypt Fund to provide drinkable water and sanitary water to several villages, the poorest across the country. If you can tell us more, how is the ministry working with the Long Egypt Fund to provide, tell us the know-hows and the behind the scenes.
Okay, with the Long Live Egypt Fund, the ministry had, you can say, a prompt action concerning dealing with the floods, as you asked, Nancy. The rapid and the fast projects were set and implemented already through improving the lifting station, lifting pump station across the drains. You remember in 2015 there was a severe rainfall in Alexandria and West Delta, and it harmed so many areas, farmers and so on. The Ministry of Water Resources and Irrigation took actions through the Long Live Egypt Fund and built four big main lifting station, pump station, so that to be ready and to lift the station through the drains, so that not to overtopping and make some losses for the agriculture and so on. This is one. And also there was some project on the lakes, Lake Mariot and other lakes in the northern area, to improve the drainage in the lake and to make some dikes inside with some, you can say, water flows to refresh the lake itself. And even in the Mediterranean Sea there was a wave breaker, so as to deal with the climate change and the seawater rise. So many projects as you asked, Nancy and Karim, And we dealt already with that, and they are there on ground, for anyone who would like to go and see.
Looking at the ministry's achievements, not just in Egypt but also abroad, the ministry has won a seat on the board of governors of the World Water Council. How can Egypt's membership of this council support water projects in Egypt and in Africa, especially given that Egypt is the president of the African Union?
Okay, the scientific researches and its relation with the applied researches is a common interest for the ministry and even for the Egyptian government. We won through the National Water Research Center, which is sponsored by the ministry. You can say a seat on the governor board in the World Water Council. This comes as a result of that. The National Water Research Center has a very valuable and high quality researches, which resulted in also that it comes 1,500 you can say rank more than what it is before, on the international scientific research centers all over the world. So how can we get use of that? Right. Everywhere Egyptian experts has the respect of the others as per their knowledge and the past experience which was inherited through the ancient era of Egypt and so on.
Dr. Yusri, unfortunately we're running out of time, but really do appreciate your insight. Dr. Yusri Khfagi, official spokesperson of the Water Resources and Irrigation Ministry, and definitely we're going to be dedicating further episodes to talk about the great achievements of the ministry.